So this Vidal Blanc is just really nice and light, but it's not as sweet as some of the Vidal Blancs we've used on the show before. So it's a little bit drier and it goes really well with spicy food, particularly this black bean burger with a beautiful salsa. So in my bowl, I have two 14.5-ounce cans of black beans, and I just want to mash those up. Now I'm using a pastry blender because I don't want to make them smooth and gooey. What I really want to do is just to break up about 2/3 of them and leave about 1/3 whole. This seems to work well. If you don't have a pastry blender, use a fork. So let's just smash away. And what I did with these beans, I didn't rinse them, but I did drain them. So just drain them out of the can, put them in your bowl, but don't rinse them because if you do, the burgers get too dry. Now I love black bean burgers just served themselves with some salsa, but you can also, of course, use them on a bun. This burger is very versatile and you can do it either way. All right. Now I've got those beans mashed up. So here I have about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of breadcrumbs. If you're using this as a main course and you're using just the salsa, you can go with a little more breadcrumb. If you're using it on a bun, you want slightly less breadcrumb, and that's because the juice from the salsa will give it a nice moisture. If you don't use the salsa, make sure you have just a little bit less breadcrumb in this recipe. Now, 1/2 cup is what I'm using. And then I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of a minced up red pepper, 2 tablespoons of jalapeno pepper, and about 2 tablespoons of red onion. There we go. I also want to add some ancho chili powder and some cumin. So I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of each of those to a teaspoon, depending on what kind of flavor you like. Start off with 1/2 teaspoon and then you can always add more flavor. Now let's just kind of mix that up a little bit. I don't want to put in my wet ingredient, which is my egg, until I have all of this mixed through. If you add the eggs too quickly, then you might end up with a pocket of cumin or a pocket of ancho chili powder somewhere in a bite. And if your grandmother's eating these, she might not like them. So let's take 2 eggs. These are large eggs and I'm just going to drop them right in. The other thing that you can use to control the dryness is 1 egg or 2. I like 2 eggs and a little bit less on my breadcrumb. Okay, let's get that all mixed in and incorporated. You don't want to see any of that strand of egg white lingering in your burger mixture. And I have my oven set at 350 degrees because I'm actually going to bake these. It makes a much lower fat burger. And for those of you who are really health conscious or looking at your gluten content, you can also use a gluten-free breadcrumb for this. I've had this little burger maker for years and I love to use it because then everything is uniform and I know exactly what I'm serving everyone. And they're all perfectly shaped for a bun. So I'm going to put a nice scoop in there. This will make 4 to 6 burgers depending on how big you want them. There we go. Just going to twist that off and load that one up again. I'll make the rest of these burgers on this pan and then I'm going to stick them in my oven for 20 minutes at 350 degrees and just let them bake. So while those bean burgers are baking, let's just make some yummy salsa. So in my bowl, I have about 1.5 cups of fresh tomatoes, and these are just out of my garden, and I love fresh garden tomatoes. Now to that, I'm going to add about, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of red bell pepper, and 1/2 of a jalapeno, all minced up. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of red onion again. And a cup of frozen corn that I've just allowed to thaw. And some of them are still a little bit chunky and cold, but that's okay. As we mix up that lime juice, we'll have nice thawed corn. So I'm going to just stir all that together. And then I want to put in about a teaspoon of salt. It takes quite a bit of salt for this because you have a lot of vegetables. And we're going to take 2 limes. Make sure that you really rub those limes and scrunch them up so that they give all the juice they can. We'll cut them in 2, and remember, limes don't have seeds, so we can just squeeze to our heart's content and not worry about seeds dropping in there. Oh, it smells so good. The oil from those limes as you squeeze, oh, just fills the room. Now we want to add just a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. And then as I test it to see if it's wet enough, I'll add more if I need to. You don't want your vegetables to swim in olive oil, but you also don't want salsa to be dry. It smells great. But my favorite is still to come, avocado. I love avocado. So I want to take an avocado, and remember, if you pull out that little tiny stem at the top of the avocado, and it's green, in all likelihood, your avocado will be green cutting into it. If it's brown, it's started to go. Perfect. Now let's just cube that up, and I'm just going to very carefully cut just down to the peel. There we go. And then let's scoop that out. I love avocado. I could just sit down and eat it with a little salt and pepper for lunch. It's one of my favorite things. And then let's cut the second half. All right, we'll scoop that in. Okay, now let's give it a good stir. This is so delicious, and the avocado starts to become a little bit creamy, and it just adds to almost a thickening in that sauce. So between the avocado and the olive oil, it's just perfect. Got a little piece of peel in there. Now let me give it a taste. Really good. Spot on. So let's get our black bean burgers out of the oven, plate it up with our wine. So let's look at these beautiful bean burgers all plated up. I just love these, and I could have them 3 or 4 nights a week. I just love black beans. They're so healthy. And there's nothing about this that's just not good for you. Here we go. Now let's take some of our salsa. We're just going to put it on top. Just kind of let it go down the side. And always make sure that you get some of that great juice, that wonderful blend of the lime, the olive oil, and the tomato juice. It just, oh, it's so great. There we go. We just need to see that we've got a black bean burger under there. And then what I usually do for a full meal is to stack them. Just like that. There we go. And just a little more of the juice over top. It's awesome. So Vidal Blanc is actually a hybrid grape. It's from a grape called Ugni Blanc, and then another French hybrid. So it's a hybrid of a hybrid, which is really unusual. It has a beautiful golden color, and it's very winter hardy. It's fruity, kind of floral, lots of that green but peachy at the same time fruit, really nice stone fruit and apple kind of thing, pear, all blended together. It's just got a very unusual flavor. Oh yeah. High acidity and high sugar is what makes this grape so amazing. So let's taste the bean burger with the wine. So good. Oh yeah. The peppers work with this. The avocado works with this. The jalapeno works with this. And all of it together just really makes a nice combination in your mouth. So I hope you'll enjoy this.